everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. This is Angela, Company Secretarial Manager from Premia TNC. Today we are going to share with you about regulation updates, accounting and taxation in Hong Kong. During our webinar, for any questions, you may drop your message on the chat box at the right-hand side. We will answer the questions in Q&A section at the end of today's webinar or share the relevant information afterward. And you can also click the live chat red button on the top to make an appointment with us for further discussions or consultation. Personal information contained in register maintained by the company's registry are open for public inspection. The personal information includes the usual residential addresses of directors and full identification numbers of directors, company secretaries, and other individuals such as liquidators and professional liquidators. To protect personal information, relevant provisions of the company's ordinance regarding new inspection regime has been passed. For the implementation of this new regulation, there are a total 3 phases. Phase 1, from 23rd of August 2021, companies may replace usual residential addresses of directors with their corresponding addresses and replace full identification numbers of directors and company secretaries with their parcel identification numbers on their own registers for public inspection. Phase 2, from 24th of October 2022, protected information of the directors and other individuals will be replaced with correspondence addresses and parcel identification numbers for public inspection. Protected information contained in documents filed after commencement of this phase will not be available for public inspection. Phase 3, from 27th of December 2023, data subjects could apply to the registry for protecting from public inspection their protected information contained in documents filed with the registry and replace such information with the corresponding addresses and parcel identification numbers. Specified persons could apply to the registry for access to withheld information of directors and other persons. Phase 2 of this new inspection regime will be commenced on 24th of October 2022. Under this phase, usual residential addresses and full identification numbers, which is protected information, on the index of directors on the company's register are replaced with corresponding addresses and parcel identification numbers for public inspection. The company's registered office address, RO, will be regarded as the corresponding address of director. Protected information contained in documents filed after 24th of October 2022 is not provided for public inspection. Specified persons could apply to the company's registry for access to protected information of directors and other individuals. Every Hong Kong company shall ensure that its register of directors will contain the corresponding address of all natural person directors, including reserve director, before its first annual return date on or after the commencement date of Phase 2 on 24 of October 2022. In addition, if the corresponding address of company director is not the company's registered office address, it is required to deliver a Form ND2B to the company's registry regarding the director's corresponding address within 15 days after 24 of October 2022. To facilitate the implementation of Phase 2, Companies Registry has revised 26 specified forms which pertain to the reporting of protected information for use starting from 24 of October 2022. The major changes in these revised forms include modification of the relevant fields for reporting corresponding address of director and parcel identification numbers of directors, company secretaries, and any other individuals, and introduction of a PI sheet to individual form for reporting protected information of each of those individuals. This PI sheet will not be made available for public inspection. The company shall keep the updated particulars with registry. If there is any change of particular and the company should deliver the notice in the specific form, notice of change in particulars of the company secretary and director within 15 days after the change. So according to Phase 2 of this new inspection regime, the company shall deliver the notice after the commencement date if the director's corresponding address is not the company's registered office address. Protected information contained in documents filed after commencement of Phase 2 will not be provided for public inspection. The revised version of specified forms will contain a PI sheet to each relevant form for reporting protected information of individuals, and this PI sheet will not be made available for public inspection. Since the protected information is no longer for public inspection once the Phase 2 is effective, so here we can see that only these 10 types of persons can be accessible. A data subject, a member of the company, a person who is authorized in writing by a data subject for obtaining the information, a liquidator, a trustee in bankruptcy, a public officer or public body, scheduled persons, a solicitor or foreign lawyer, a certified public accountant, a financial institution or designated non-financial businesses and professionals. This list of specified persons is guided by the need for access to the personal information of directors in the conduct of functions in relation to statutory procedures, statutory obligation, and law enforcement, with a view to ensuring the protectiveness of the financial, commercial, and corporate governance system of Hong Kong and proper conduct of law enforcement. So here we have shared with you all about regulation updates regarding new inspection regime. Now we will move on to our second part of today's webinar. Here we have our Senior Audit Manager, Alan, to share about accounting and taxation in Hong Kong.
Hello everyone, I'm Alan. Today I would like to share with you all about accounting and taxation in Hong Kong. Now we will start our first part, accounting in Hong Kong. Under Hong Kong Companies Audience, directors must prepare financial statements for each year that comply with Companies Audience. These financial statements must comply with applicable accounting standards issued or specified by the Hong Kong Institute of Certified Public Accountants. Moreover, they must be audited by an external independent auditor. On the other hand, these requirements do not apply to a company that is common. Regarding to accounting, there's no requirement to appoint an external accounting professional to prepare financial statements. The financial statements can be prepared internally if you or your accounting staff can do so. For the newly incorporated company, the first accounting period is specified by the directors that falls within 18 months after the company incorporation. In other words, first accounting period cannot be longer than 18 months. And every subsequent accounting period is a period of 12 months after the end of the previous accounting period unless it is altered. The accounting period can be altered by a resolution of directors, but the altered accounting period cannot be longer than 18 months. About the audit of financial statements, it should be carried out by a practicing certified public accountant in Hong Kong. It is the auditor's responsibility to obtain sufficient documentation in order to issue the audit opinions according to the audit findings. The auditor reviews the financial statements and general ledger of the business transaction together with supporting documents. The audited financial statements must include statement of financial position, commonly known as balance sheet, auditor's report, statement of comprehensive income, commonly known as profit and loss account, and notes to the financial statements. The audited financial statements should be approved by the board of directors and adopted by the members of the company. So now we move on to our second part, Hong Kong tax system. Hong Kong tax system is simple and tax rate is low compared with most of Asian countries. There are three direct taxes in Hong Kong. First is profits tax, that is corporate income tax. Second is salary tax to individuals. Third is the property tax chargeable on rental income from real estate. Hong Kong adopts a thorough basis of taxation. That means only business profit, employment income, and property rental income arising in or derived from Hong Kong is taxable. Moreover, Hong Kong has no capital gains tax, no VAT, and GST. Currently, Hong Kong has concluded more than 30 bilateral comprehensive tax treaties. Now, let's talk about profits tax. The normal tax rate is 16.5% for limited companies and 15% for unincorporated business such as partnership. From 1st April 2018, two-tier tax rate regime was introduced. Under this regime, eligible company can reduce half of the tax rate for the first 2 million Hong Kong dollars accessible profit. That means 8.25% for limited companies and 7.5% for unincorporated business. Moreover, capital gains, dividend to shareholder, and profits sourced outside Hong Kong are tax exempted. On the other hand, in order to protect tax revenue, provisional tax may be charged based on current year accessible profit. Tax filing. Hong Kong companies can freely choose their accounting year-end date. For companies having year-end date between April to November, the tax filing deadline is 2nd of May of the following year. December year-end date companies have tax filing deadline on 15 August of the following year. Companies having accounting year-end date between January and March, the tax filing deadline is 15 November on the same year. The first profit tax return is issued around 18 months after the date of incorporation date, and the filing due date is 3 months from the issue date of the return. In order to complete tax filing, the company should submit tax computation report, audited financial statements, and profit tax return. Let's talk about the employer's return. Employer has reporting obligation for all its employees in respect of whether the employees render service in or outside Hong Kong if their total annual income exceeds the reporting limit. The current reporting limit for single person is 132,000 Hong Kong dollars. On the other hand, income regardless of amount to married person, part-time staff, or director should be reported. The reporting period is from 1st April to 31st March of the following year. Employer must complete the return and lodge with the Inland Revenue Department (IRD) within 1 month from the issue date of the return, even if no employee was hired during the year or the business has not commenced. IRD normally issues employer's return on the first working day of April. Employer's return and all the forms IR56B must be signed by the same responsible person. For a limited company incorporated in Hong Kong, they must be signed by the employer's director, company secretary, or manager. Let's turn to the employee's tax filing. Employees should report income before deducting mandatory contributions to recognized retirement schemes (MPF) received or receivable during the year. Income includes income from an office, full-time or part-time employment, or pension from a former employer. Even if full or partial tax exemption is claimed for offshore nature, the gross amount should be declared. Then, employees should fill in the amount to be excluded in the return and complete the appendix to the return. Same as the employer's return, the reporting period is from 1st April to 31st March of the following year. The employees must complete the return and lodge with IRD within 1 month from the issue date of the return. IRD normally issues individual tax return on the first working day of May. Employees can follow eligible deductions such as approved charitable donations and contributions to MPF and eligible allowance such as married person's allowance and child allowance in the return. That's the end of our presentation today. We hope that the information we have shared is useful for you to understand about company regulations and taxation in Hong Kong. Now it's the Q&A time, and let me invite Angela to join us again. So let us review the key questions from the customer first.
For non-Hong Kong company registered in Hong Kong, what to do after the commencement of Phase 2 of the new inspection regime? For a non-Hong Kong company registered in Hong Kong, the address of company's principal place of business in Hong Kong will be recorded as the correspondence address of directors. If a director of a non-Hong Kong company would like to use an address other than address of company's principal place of business in Hong Kong at his or her correspondence address, the company should deliver a Form NN7 for reporting to Companies Registry. Can a local company report the director's residential address as his or her correspondence address? Yes. The company can deliver a Form ND2B to report such change if the director wants to use his or her residential address as the director's correspondence address. While please be reminded that the residential address so reported as correspondence address will be available for public inspection.
Other than the financial statements required by the company's audience, can we prepare accounts for our internal management purpose? Yes, the companies can prepare internal accounts such as monthly or quarterly accounts for its management purpose. How should we choose our first accounting year-end date? You can freely choose your first accounting year-end date, which should be within 18 months after the incorporation date. Can we prepare financial statements in US dollars? Yes, there's no restriction in currency used to prepare the financial statements. Now, let's take a look of the live questions. What's the tax rate of the dividend income received by a Hong Kong company? Dividend income, whether from Hong Kong or overseas, is not taxable.
Is it possible to conduct company search with companies registry after the commencement of Phase 2? Yes, you can continue to conduct company search as usual after the commencement of Phase 2, while kindly note that you will not be able to obtain protected information contained in the documents.
Management accounts are sufficient for completion of tax filing? No, completed profit tax returns should be submitted together with the audited financial statements and tax computation report.
The anniversary date of my Hong Kong company is before 24th October. Should I file the current version of annual return? If the company's annual return is to be submitted on or before 23rd of October 2022, the current version of Form NAR1 should be used. Otherwise, only revised version of Form NAR1 will be accepted for filing from 24th of October 2022, even though the company's annual return date is before 24th of October 2022.
That's all about our Q&A sessions. That's the end of our presentation today. We hope that the information we have shared is useful for you to understanding about companies regulation, accounting, and taxation in Hong Kong. Please feel free to contact us for any inquiry. Thank you for your time. We are Premium TNC and hope to see you again on next webinar. Bye-bye.